Time for number 39.
Number
39 is perhaps the best college football name ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the name built for college football in Texas.
Especially at that school. Right. Colt McCoy is my number 39. And listen, this is where it was splitting hairs between him and Tyrod Taylor. And, also I kind of made this list right as I got news as Colt McCoy was, still dealing with the leg injury and all that. But listen, I think highly of Colt McCoy. I do in a lot of ways. And, stats and numbers and everything like that aren't going to say the whole story about Colt McCoy. Listen, the big thing is, again, another guy with a good athlete, has a more aggressive demeanor than a Tyrod Taylor. He is looking to strike down the field a little bit more that way. Is his arm as good as Tyrod Taylor? No. But, again, quick release, pretty accurate. Right. The biggest problem with Colt McCoy is when he's gotten the chance to really start or play and you go, oh, here he goes. He might be the starter here. He's gotten hurt. A few times throughout his career, twice with Washington as he's going to have a chance really to kind of take over. So I think that's really been the biggest downfall. But, I think a lot of it with the Colt McCoy, too, he's a smart kid. He works hard. He understands the system. You heard what Jay Gruden said in the offseason. He's really kind of said it the last 2 or 3 years where he's been very comfortable with Colt McCoy having to be his backup quarterback. He talked about early in this offseason he would have been comfortable with Colt McCoy going into the season as a starting quarterback. Sure. So that tells you what they think of him as a player. He's one of those guys that's, I think if he got a chance to prove himself without getting hurt a few times, he would have got a chance to maybe go to a lower level team, right? That was like, we don't know who our quarterback is, or maybe we need a bridge gap starter. He could have been that guy to maybe prove yourself that you can be an NFL starter as we drafted a guy that might take your job in a year from now, but then maybe you can go somewhere else and be that kind of guy. He does have that type of talent. He just hasn't been able to string out consistency altogether. And, here he is in Washington. He's in a weird situation where, I think
a lot of competition now this year.
Right, because Case Keenum's there, Dwayne Haskins there. I think
Case Keenum and Colt McCoy might be the same person.
Well, they're
hard time differentiating.
They're very similar. They are. No joke. And just for full disclosure, Case Keenum's going to be on this list. He's obviously not here, but they are very similar in style of play, skill set. I just think Case Keenum may be a hair better in all of those. But I think until they realized Colt McCoy wasn't going to be okay with this leg injury and they couldn't risk maybe any, oh gosh, he might not be ready for training camp. Right. I think they were going to stand pat with Colt McCoy and then drafted Dwayne Haskins and just go, let's go into camp like this. But because of the McCoy injury issues and everything like that, they did sign a Case Keenum. And now, I don't know, Colt McCoy could be trade bait. He could get released at the end of training camp. There's a number of ways this could go.
So looking through his career, it's been, like you mentioned, an interesting up and down career. First 3 years in Cleveland, won 6 of the 21 games he started, which for Cleveland is actually a pretty good performance.
Yeah, well, they were a disaster at that point.
I was like, oh, he won 6 of them. That's good.
Right.
He's actually probably one of the most successful Cleveland Brown quarterbacks in recent history. Started just 6 games since 2011, though. 4 years now with Washington. Did start a few games last year. Was in that Thanksgiving Day game.
Yeah, and he didn't play well in that game.
Really was. That was the tipping point for almost both of those teams, where it was after that Washington won one more game the rest of the way. They were after that game. They were both tied 6-5.
Yeah.
Dallas lost one the rest of the way, and so that really was a tipping point.
Yeah, Washington was just that was the end of the road for Washington. So many injuries on the offensive line. They had across the board guys hurt at receiver, running back, and Colt McCoy did not play good in that game. Then looked better in the next week against the Philadelphia Eagles.
And broke his leg.
But he slides and breaks his leg, and then you go, uh-oh, and now he's going to start back at square one once again.
He is going to be healthy, though. He does think he's going to be fully healthy.
Sounds like
camp, so he will get a fair shot to compete with Case Keenum and Dwayne Haskins as well. But, I mean, it just was the incredible college career for Colt McCoy that really put him on the map. The 4-year career at Texas, 13,000 yards, 112 touchdown passes.
Damn.
Almost as many as Chris Simms when he was
there. Almost double.
He had a few more.
Yeah.
What would be your Texas power ranking?
At quarterback?
All the former Texas quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
They've had. Where's Colt McCoy in that list?
Well, I think if we're going to just take Texas quarterbacks, right? All right, I'm taking Vince Young 1.
Vince Young is one.
Vince Young is
pretty
one.
Clear one.
Pretty clear one. I mean, I don't know if you can really argue any Texas quarterback had a better year than Vince Young did in 2005, let alone maybe the greatest game we've ever seen any college quarterback have in that Rose Bowl game against the USC Trojans. So, to me, I would go Vince Young 1. I would probably go James Street, number 2.
Oh, James Street. Okay. I wasn't familiar with James Street until I looked it up.
Yep.
Played from 67 to 69.
Right, on 2 national championships.
Undefeated as a starter, 20-0.
So that's pretty tough to beat there. I mean, only a magical year by Vince can basically upstage that.
Normally when we do like a power ranking now, the year is 2019, I don't allow anyone that played before like 2008 usually, but I'll allow it.
You'll allow this? Yeah, well, it's Texas. We got a long history. But James Street, who's the father of Houston Street, you might remember him, the pitcher out of the Oakland A's for a while, right? So, I would go James Street 2. I would go Colt McCoy 3, and then I'd probably go Chris Simms 4.
Oh, you make the top 4.
I don't know. I feel like I got to make the top 4.
I think you're definitely in the top 10.
You think I'm definitely in the top 10?
100%. I'm 100% sure.
Thanks, friend.
You know who I would throw? Bobby Lane.
Oh, damn.
From
what
44,
am I thinking?
47.
I'm wrong. You're right. I'm not number 4. I'm farther down. I'm 5 now.
You're moving yourself down already.
In fact, we might have to move Colt down too. It might have to go Vince, James Street, Bobby Lane, Colt McCoy, then Chris Simms.
You know, I'm partial to Bobby Lane because growing up in Michigan and a Detroit Lions fan,
sure.
He won the back-to-back championships for him in the 50s, a little bit before
my time. They haven't won since then.
No, they haven't.
No.
It was like they haven't ever won a Super Bowl, but it was like they won those NFL championships.
Yeah, right.
They just called them Super Bowls, and they could have had a couple, but he was really good. But I like that. That's good. Okay,
right.
So good. So he could be trade bait. He might not be on Washington's team, Colt McCoy.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Get going.
Yep.
But, number
and I
39.
might have messed up my rankings right at 40 and 39, but that's okay. I'm here to self-scout, and I'm Chris Simms, and that's what I do.
You know, and Colt may have had better numbers in his college career, but both of you drafted around the same spot. Third round. He was third round, 85th overall.
Okay, so he beat me there too. He's 12 picks ahead of me.
Barely, but just barely.
Barely.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.